So earlier this evening, I went to go see the new movie Tony, which is about Anthony Bourdain basically becoming the Anthony Bourdain that we know now as the famous food reviewer and chef. And this movie was genuinely so good. The main actor, who I know from being in The Holdovers from a few years back, he was really good portraying Anthony Bourdain. And then, of course, you have Antonio Banderas, who is always really good. He's just a great veteran actor, and he portrays the um, chef and boss that basically mentors Anthony Bourdain in his early years of originally wanting to be a writer. Anthony Bourdain originally wanted to be a writer. I did not know that. That was very interesting to learn. And through the course of the story, we see him follow this girl that he had a crush on in high school to Provincetown in Massachusetts. And while there, he ends up meeting Antonio Banderas' character and learns under him for the course of the summer, and eventually learns and realizes that he much more loves and wants to be a part of the chef and cooking and food industry and business. So yeah, this was a absolutely fascinating story to watch and learn about, and the rest of the remaining cast surrounding both Anthony and Antonio Banderas' character are all also very good and all give really good performances. The rest of the chefs that Anthony Bourdain works with in that restaurant are all like super funny, super crass, but really like very interesting characters as well. The girl that Anthony is in love with, she's also pretty interesting, and it's a nice little like romance to see him try to become a lot less selfish and try to, be a better person towards her, especially as the film goes along. The What was interesting was, especially as we got later into the film, was we see at a certain point, Anthony does something really bad, but and eventually from that immediately learns to just put aside his selfish behavior and realize that no, I really should be here and help these people bring back this restaurant and raise money for that to happen. And then from there, it just shows that he really becomes a much more well-rounded and better person through that. And by the end of the film, it it ends in a great little bit of him then going off to New York and really starting to work. Then obviously starting to work in that in New York City in all those restaurants there, and it ends with the chefs that he's wanting to work for. They're like kind of making fun of him. They're like, "You've only been working for a summer. What are you doing here?" And then they read this letter from Antonio Banderas' character, and they're like, "Wait, what's your name again?" And he just goes, "Anthony Bourdain." And that was great also because it tied back to him saying that only his mom calls him Anthony, everyone else calls him Tony, which going into the film I was like, why is this movie called Tony? This is about Anthony Bourdain, but I forget that Tony is canon technically is short for Anthony. So that was kind of funny to realize for me, but also a really good bit and really good ending place for the film. So yeah, overall, this was a very fascinating and interesting film to learn about how Anthony Bourdain became the Anthony Bourdain we all know now and what that story was. So absolutely go check this film out. It's a really good time, a really enjoyable movie on all accounts, and just a very interesting story to learn from and understand this famous chef and food review food writer that we all know.